Good afternoon, fastball fans, and welcome to the ISC World Tournament here at the Milton Field Green Valley Sports Complex, Moline, Illinois. On the ISC Network, Blair set for Joe Todd with you tonight. The New York Gremlins out on the field. They're taking on the AWP Lumberjacks. Gremlins from Clifton Park, New York. AWP Lumberjacks from DuQuoin, Illinois, just south of where we are. Joe, this shapes up to be a real good one. The Gremlins, late start to the tournament due to a default earlier in the week, but they were on a roll pretty quickly against the Oswegan Redmen. The AWP Lumberjacks have had a couple of good games to get to this point. Why don't you set us up?
Okay, back on Sunday, the AWP Lumberjacks defeated the San Antonio Glowworm by a score of 3-2. They only had 4 hits in that game, but those 4 hits were enough. On Monday, they beat the Toronto Batman by a score of 7-0. On the Gremlins' first game, obviously we talked about the forfeit. The second game was a 9-0 victory over the Oswegan Redmen.
Stepping up for the AWP Lumberjacks to lead things off, it is Cisco Zabate, and first pitch swinging, and that is a strike. Game is underway. Joe, looks to be a good one. We're starting just about 6:15. We're an hour and a little bit late, as we've had a couple of games go long here on the main diamond at the Green Valley Sports Complex. We will keep you entertained over the next little while. So Cisco Sabate to lead things off. Michaelis Kloss, Tyler Booley, Carlos Carreño in 4th spot. Federico Olheiser, Gonzalo Ojeda, Carlos Holmaneras, Matias Minaguti, and Cody Pennebecker for the AWP Lumberjacks. Hayes in the flex spot, not batting. For the Gremlins, defensively, Matty Waugh in left field, Benanoka center. In right, it is Brian Abry tonight. Around the horn on the infield, Jerome Remeke. Cole Evans at short, Ladislav Malerzuk at second base. First, it's Eric Ochoa. Zenon Winters is in as the designated player tonight, Joe. Andrew Kirkpatrick pitching, and maybe surprisingly a little bit not batting.
Well, the only thought my consideration on that was the fact that the sun's out and it's like good hot day today, and I think they're just trying to keep him off the base pass potentially and just let him rest, do his job on the pitching mound.
Well, when you've got a wealth of talent like the Gremlins, it's easy to substitute in a world-class hitter like Zenon Winters at DP and bring Brian Abry, who did not start in the first game, off the bench, and a national team player in Abry out in right field, and he has got the hand up in front of his face to protect himself. Hot shot. Cole Evans dives, turns, throws, and out at the bag. A great scoop by Eric Ochoa. Wow, defense there by Cole Evans. There's only a couple of shortstops in the game that get to that. Cole Evans, obviously one of them. Watch this. Bang, bang at the bag.
But to fire from his knees too, Blair.
He is a special player. Came into the tournament. He was my odds-on favorite to win the Kevin Hurley Newcomer of the Year award. He remains that. There's going to have some competition, but that was a special play. That you put an asterisk besides those ones in your book, and Michaelis Kloss, victim of that one there. So Tyler Booley, I want to say the young catcher, but not that he's not old, but Tyler is, I don't know if he qualifies still as young, though. He's out of the junior program, goes down swinging. Andrew Kirkpatrick and the Gremlins make short work at AWP in the top of the first. We'll go to the bottom. Stay with us on the ISC Network.
Whatever your delivery requirements are across North America, Skelton Truck Lines provides you with reliable, safe, and high-quality service at a fair price. Skelton Truck Lines equipment is satellite tracked and delivers small parcel, less than truckload, and expedited shipments throughout Canada and the U.S. With over 50 years of experience and more than 50 trucks serving 4 divisions, Skelton Truck Lines is a thriving Ontario business and a proud fastball sponsor. Visit us online at skeltontruck.com. Thanks to Mike Skelton for supporting the broadcast program. Whatever your delivery requirements are across North America, Skelton Truck Lines provides you with reliable, safe, and high-quality service at a fair price. Skelton Truck Lines equipment is satellite tracked and delivers small parcel, less than truckload, and expedited shipments throughout Canada and the U.S. With over 50 years of experience and more than 50 trucks serving 4 divisions, Skelton Truck Lines is a thriving Ontario business and a proud fastball sponsor. Visit us online at skeltontruck.com. Thanks to Mike Skelton for supporting the broadcast program.
We're back here on the ISC network, heading into the bottom of the first inning for the New York Gremlins. Matthew Waugh leads things off, followed by Jerome Remicky. Ben Anoka in 3 spot. Eric Ochoa bats 4. Cole Evans, Zenon Winters. Brian Avery gets into the lineup in the 7 spot. Ladislav Malazuk in the 8 hole. Nick Mullins bats 9 and catching, and Andrew Kirkpatrick pitching and not batting. A little bit more conventional lineup for the Gremlins, not playing the numbers game. Defensively, for the EWP Lumberjacks, Miklos Kloss out in left. In center field, it's Matias Minagudi. Right field is Carlos Colmenares. And then around the horn on the infield, Carlos Carreño at third. At short, it's Gonzalo Ojeda. Second base is Cody Panabecker. At first, it is Cisco Sabate. And pitching, Nick Hayes, who's having himself a whale of a tournament, Joe. Catching, and of course, is Tyler Booley. From Mrs. Upstairs from Hayes. Joe, Nick has been over more than once into North America, has had some good world tournaments, not so good world tournaments, but he's on a roll here this week for AWP.
Pitching extremely well so far. He's got 7 innings to work with, 14 strikeouts at this point.
Hayes up and down, will throw a curve as well as mix some speeds occasionally. There is the rise ball. Matthew Waugh from Donnacona, Quebec, or in that neighborhood at least. And this one misses just off the outside corner. Matty active in helping to run a league in the Donnacona area just outside of Quebec City. A longtime member of the Gremlins. He played here for me, Joe, in 2011. There's a called strike. Played here in 2011 for the Toronto Gators and would move on to the Gremlins the following year and has been with them ever since. Matty was still coming out of the, what was then, I think, the U21.
Yes.
Upstairs, they're going to ask, and no, says our third base umpire. And Joe, you've got Blue Crew tonight.
And the behind home plate is Brandon Bloom from Washington. First base, Randy McLam from North Carolina. And at third base, David Fortin from New Zealand.
So Dave Fortin had the appeal call there. So with Matthew Waugh aboard on a walk, that'll bring up Jerome Remicky. And these two, Joe, former teammates in New Zealand with, I want to say Wellington or Hutt Valley? Hutt Valley, I think.
Yes, I think
Hutt Valley
so.
Dodgers.
Yeah.
And if I'm wrong on that, please let me know on the comments or the Twitter sphere. I want to say hello to old teammate Dante Maracatier watching. Remicky can't hold up on that one. On the move, Waugh, good throw, and DOA. Looked like Matty got a late jump on that, Joe. When I looked up, he hadn't even reached halfway point as Booley got the ball. And a good strong throw, Matty Waugh out. Right there, slides right into the tag. That's a pretty easy call.
Great bounce there by Booley to get up and throw that ball.
So the walk eliminated on the caught stealing. Remicky still at the plate. And a called strike. And the pitch just misses upstairs from Hayes. You've seen a lot of pitchers do a lot of landscaping out there, Joe, in the landing area. Nick will be no different. And this one yanked way foul down the right side, off the tree, and bounces back in amongst the spectators. Joe, it is a very warm day here in Moline. I want to hazard a guess around 27, 28 degrees Celsius, which is approaching the mid-80s, I think, in Fahrenheit. And that sun has been hot all day long. When you look at the bleachers seating here in behind home plate, the seats under the shade umbrellas are packed and a little bit sparser in the sunshine. Those will fill up as the sun goes down. Remeke waits on that off speed, fights off, but that's foul down the left side. You see it there.
Nice change there by Nick Hayes.
The Lumberjack is 7. Está en el puesto 7 del ISC.
And that pitch just misses off the outside corner, so Hayes walks another batter. They got Matty Waugh stealing to erase that one. That'll bring up Ben Inoka. These two know each other very well. A decade ago, they spent the summer together with the Jarvis Travelers in 2013 and again in 2015 with the Toronto Gators. Upstairs to Inoka. Joe, I don't think Benny Inoka has been fully healthy this summer. The swings that you normally get from Benny just haven't been there. I don't know whether it's a core injury, either in the groin area, or if it could be a thigh or something like that, or it could be in the rib cage. But the swings just don't look the same to me. Called strike inside corner. That is a real good pitch from Hayes. And if he can get that spot on the inside on the righties, he'll have himself a good night.
Yeah, pretty well has to stay inside. Try and jam Ben.
There's a changeup again. Three and one on the count. And a called strike the outside corner, and Noka one step towards first, but now back to the box. Haven't seen him swing the bat yet, Joe. Got to a full count without having to swing the bat. That's how patient Ben Inoka is. You can look at the flow that Benny's got going. And called strike there. Yeah, I'm not sure what was a foul tip in the glove, but went after it. So Ben Inoka down on strikes as he chases up and out of the zone. And you don't often get Ben Inoka to chase, but you see it there. Certainly went around. So with 2 down, that'll bring up Erica Chewy. Our good friend Luciano Lafrano, our producer and Spanish commentator, and Erica Shoa, our good friends.
2 batters in a row that Nick Hayes has gone to a full count, throwing a lot of pitches here.
In for a strike. Well, I don't think either the heat or the pitch count, certainly right now, are going to bother Hayes. He's in real good shape.
Not right now, but it might in the 6th or 7th.
May in absolutely in the 6th or the 7th, because it is hot out there, and I think if anything, it might be probably a 2-pitcher night for the most part, especially if you're going to go full count, as you just said, on everybody. Won't bother him now.
Mackey.
Joe, right now he's getting the ball up, but it's elevated up and out of the zone and falling behind everybody.
He's got to bring that ball down, try and keep that ball in the infield, especially with a runner at first base. Give his infield a chance to turn a double play and get out of this inning.
Oh.
Sorry, there is 2 out.
Now you only need the one.
Only need the one.
Stuck in a bag somewhere.
Pero Arellano, bienvenido a la transmisión. Bienvenidos a todos.
2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 out. Bottom of the first inning. Gremlins love to score early and run away and hide. And this one is upstairs from Hayes. So 3-2, another full count. He's taking a walk. Touch the Gorilla Gold rag. And this one down and into Ochoa. So 3rd walk of the inning for Nick Hayes, and Booley will have a conversation with his right-hander.
26 pitches so far to the first 4 batters.
Well, Joe, you have to wonder here, is something wrong with Hayes? He's got the glove off, he's flexing the back, and maybe something is bothering him out there.
No action in the bullpen yet.
Well, it would be Michael Holobratic in relief, the Czech right-hander. Cole Evans at the plate. Got his first IC hit out of the way against the Redmen, and now he can go up there hacking. We had Travis Wilson in the other night for the Gremlins, and he said in every ISC World Tournament he played, there was always butterflies in the first game. You wanted to get your first hit out of the way so that you weren't pressing and trying to get that 2 or 3 games deep into the tournament. Evans got that. Big cut there from the young shortstop. He has the whole world in front of him, Joe Todd. We're going to be talking about him for the next 10, 15 years still. And he's already been on the international scene for 6, but this is his first ISC World Tournament. This is downstairs. We first saw him in 2015 at the WBSC event in Saskatoon. You've watched him in Whitehorse and in Prague, and you've seen the improvements in his game. And everybody just saw that defensive play that he made in the top of the first inning. Just the tip of the iceberg with Cole Evans.
Some of the plays that he made in Prague were unbelievable. There was highlights on the TV screen every night back in the Prague sports department.
Swing and a miss here, and as always happens, we pick somebody up on the broadcast, and they go down on strikes. The curse of the broadcasters. Scoreless through 1. We'll go to the top of the second AWP. Coming back to the plate, ISC Network player set for Joe Todd. Stay with us. Kevin Camuller, if you're watching, that one is for you. Kevin Camuller and I were talking, Joe, about 6 hours ago when we got to the park, and he was giving me, you play out of state commercial like that, I'm going to have to drive up to this weekend and make a reservation to go. I said, Kevin, when you come, let me know and I'll join you. Joe will be there as well. So we're going to be in that neighborhood September 23 to 25. So join us in this weekend for the Ontario Challenge Cup. You can look at the action from Andrew Kirkpatrick, the big, tall Aussie. 30s now, Joe, believe it or not. Hard to believe that Kirkpatrick into his late 30s.
Andrew pitched the opening game against the Oshawakan Redmen. Just pitched 5 innings, but had 9 strikeouts. Big part about Andrew Kirkpatrick, that first pitch strike. He had 14 first pitch strikes thrown in that game.
Well, he walks Carlos Carreño here, so AWP get a runner aboard, and that'll bring up Federico Olheiser, the designated player. Olheiser's got some pop, and a member of that Argentina team, they asked him to put the bunt down. That Argentina U19 team that won the WBSC event back in 2012, Joe Todd up in Whitehorse. The first WBSC gold medal for, 2014. They won in 14, yeah. The first gold medal for Argentina. Called a strike in the outside corner. They have gone on to have some pretty good success. Now the reigning WBSC champions, the reigning Pan American Games and Pan America qualifier champions. And swinging a miss here. Olheiser down on strikes, and that will bring up Gonzalo Ojeda. This one foul to the screen.
Took a little bit off that pitch. Just changed his speeds a bit. Now we'll come back with the heat.
Andrew has mixed in the curveball, which is a big sweeper from right to left as we see it. It'll be left to right on your center field camera shot. There's a big left-hander. That ball will start in the left side batter's box, a left-handed hitter batter's box, and it'll break in across the plate. And for a right-handed hitter, you're going to give up on that pitch until it's too late. And you have to identify the spin and hope that you can get it. Swing and a miss there, though, and down goes Ojeda. And Joe, it looks like the annual ISC Special Olympics game has just come to a conclusion, and I am sure another thorough thrashing of the ISC All-Stars by the Special Olympics squad.
I don't think our team's had a win yet.
I don't think we've scored a run yet. Those Special Olympic teams, boy, they are hard to beat. It looks like they've got some Pueblo Bandits gear on. And I know the Bear Creek Express were a big supporter of that. This one well hit, deep center, and gone! Carlos Colmenares puts a charge into one. And 2-0 for the AWP Lumberjacks. And Joe Todd isn't that bit of a shock.
Yes, he got a hold of that pitch. Got too much of that plate, I believe. And Colmenares just drove that pitch right over that center field fence.
Take another look at it here as this one will center right gap just to the right of that tent. And Ben Anoka can do nothing but watch that one go. Colmenares knew it was gone. He dropped the bat coming right out of the batter's box, and he got absolutely all of that. A no doubter. Matthias Minigudi, who's got speed to spare, and he drops down a bunt foul. You see the shadows surround home plate and creeping out from the third base dugout cover. And that one is chopped foul by Minigudi.
Está en llamas, está on fire. Mi gente de San Antonio, Texas, está ganando los pelados, qué alegría. Los gusanos, mi gusano.
Oh, called strike 3 outside corner. Minigudi, not a fan of that, but everybody is a fan of the home run. And Carlos Colmenares puts the AWP Lumberjacks out on top, 2-0. We'll go to the home half of the second and see if the Gremlins have any answer. Stay with us.
Murphy's Fish and Chips is not only a great place to get some of the best seafood in Canada, but is also one of the best fastball sponsors in the game. Voted Nova Scotia's best fish and chips by Eastlink TV, Murphy's is a family institution since 1996 and a proud fastball sponsor of many Canadian and ISC championship teams. Open 7 days a week. Come join us for our famous English-style fish and chips or any of our daily specials. Murphy's is located at 88 Esplanade in Truro, Nova Scotia. We thank Dave T. Anderson and Murphy's Fish and Chips for their commitment to fastball and the broadcast program.
Strap in, Joe. We're going to go for flight over the Green Valley Sports Complex. We enter in off of 60th Street. There is the maintenance barn on the right-hand side. Just fly by that. And over top of Milt Hand Field, there you see the stadium seating around the diamond that we're on. And I'll give you a good look at Nick Hayes, who is back out on the board for the AWP Lumberjacks. Bottom to second inning. Now a 2-0 lead for AWP. And this one fouled straight back to the screen. Joe, you and I spent a fair bit of time with Todd Adenaway and Terry Bader watching the earlier game this afternoon, and they were really impressed with Nick Hayes and how he is throwing here at the World Tournament.
Yeah, he has changed his style, or maybe got a little more strength in his arms and maybe just changed his conditioning, but he does look a lot different. Got a nice little zip there.
Oh my gosh.
Foul ball from the other diamond came right over the building and glanced off the fence that protects the spectators in front of us. This one upstairs from Hayes. Zenon Winters at the plate. The veteran Winters, one of the last few guys, Joe Todd, that played for the Farm Tavern. I think he and Jason Hill might be the last two farmers out there.
Wow.
There's a little chopper on the infield, and Winters trying to dodge around the first baseman, Cisco Sabate, and a little chuckle there. The two of them are actually, Joe, the international player reps on the Players Committee here in the ISC.
Good choices.
It won't be anybody's surprise that Zenon is a vocal provider of ideas. So Brian Avery to the plate. Avery, a big 2-run home run a couple of Saturdays back, Joe Todd, in the USA National Winners Bracket Final, as he helped propel the Gremlins into the championship game. That one, a 4-hour, 10-inning marathon with Hill United, a low-scoring 12-10 affair.
I remember watching that with you.
And I started watching that game poolside in my backyard, and I ended up watching that game propped up in bed. And it wasn't because I had too many summers beside hers either. It was 4 hours. I had to charge my phone twice.
Se sale. Hayes lleva 37 lanzamientos.
Got to get a plug by the pool, Blair. Plug that in.
Well, we got one, but it's got many other things plugged into it at the moment. Avery from British Columbia, and Joe, we will be visiting British Columbia in 2024. As the ISC World Tournament goes west.
Really looking forward to that trip out to Surrey. It's a good change for the ISC. Go to a potential area. Spread the game around.
Avery swings through the changeup from Hayes, and that one was up, Joe. It was a good one, and Avery just kind of waved at it on the way by. You see it here. Hayes pulls the string, and Avery just way on front foot. You're not looking for the changeup from Nick Hayes. He's mostly known for his hard stuff. That's what he came up throwing, was real hard, and developed the changeup, and that makes him a real complete pitcher.
Used it 2 or 3 times already tonight, too.
Swing through there by Ladislav Malerzuk, the second baseman for the New York Gremlins. He's another member of that U19 team from Argentina who's been on both of those championship squads.
Am I dreaming, or was he once a catcher?
Malerzuk, I think he's always been in the infield, Joe, is
Okay.
my recollection. Zera has always been the catcher. I think Teo Migliavaca has also caught.
Okay.
He's mostly an outfielder these days.
Yeah.
Teo and Pablo were on those teams over the years. Juan Zera, Olheiser, Ojeda came through that system.
Nick doing some manicuring out there as well.
So 3-1 the count.
Nick with 3 strikeouts, 3 walks so far.
This one's lifted foul out of play. It's a good thing the Special Olympics game is over. As that headed to Diamond 6. You got to look at some of the shade from one of the umbrellas over the bleachers here, and that's now moving past the home plate area. That one a little off speed, but down low from Nick Hayes. Another walk, and so you don't want to give away too many of these free bases to the Gremlins because you're going to pay for it at some point.
46 pitches for Nick Hayes already.
There you see some of the folks in the crowd. Sunglasses and hats, the order of the day. Cold beverages as well. Nick Mullins to the plate. And a called strike from Nick Hayes.
That's how deep this Gremlins lineup is with Nick Mullins sitting in that 9-hole.
This one inside to Mullins. I think Mullins loves batting 9, Joe, because he thinks he's hiding down there. The people in the game, or as we know, that he's what he's capable of. But he is in that 9 spot for a reason, to set the table for Waugh and Renicky and Anoka at the top of the order. Joe, if you look into the back of the shot there, you'll see a couple of the guys from the Bear Creek Express sitting down. I think Ryan Boland was the losing pitcher in the Special Olympics game. Schofield was catching, so a little bit of role reversal there.
Good to see them out on the field participating in that game. That game's a lot of fun.
It absolutely is, and kudos to all the umpires, all the players, the sponsors who contributed to the Special Olympics. We thank you. And Mullins, way back to left field and gone.
Mullins
And Joe, we talked about it. You're going to put guys on base for free. Malherzuk gets the walk. Nick Mullins in the 9 spot, a home run. We talked about him hiding down there in the 9 spot. We got a tie ball game.
What a way to find a reply to that game.
And Nick Hayes is bent over at the waist. I'm not sure that he is feeling 100% out there. And Joe, you picked up on that a little bit earlier, that maybe he wasn't 100%. And I know he's certainly not happy with giving up the home run. And big sigh from Hayes. You can see the home run there on the replay. So back at the top of the shot, Matthew Waugh to the plate. We got a brand new ball game, Joe Todd, tied 2. And Gremlins, they trailed, not even for a full inning.
No, they found a quick way to tally up those 2 runs. And all with 2 out, too.
See, they're on the move with that tent. We got to make sure that they do not put that tent in front of our center field camera. Yeah. Keeping an eye on it. Is that going to block camera? No, we're okay. All right. Called a strike there on Matthew Waugh. This one lifted up to left. Nicholas Kloss will settle under that for the 3rd out of the inning. But the home run by Nick Mullins draws the Gremlins back to even through 2 complete. 2 each on the board. Lumberjacks and Gremlins will go to the top of the 3rd, tied.
Coolbet. Comfortably thrilling. Coolbet. Comfortably thrilling.
So we worked through a couple of details here in the background, and glad you've been enjoying the video. We've been able to bring in John Stewart, the head coach of Team Canada, as they get ready for the WBSC World Cup in Auckland in late November into early December. And John, you and I were talking in Simcoe, and there's a pre-tournament in North Palmerston as well. You guys are in it, Canada, New Zealand, Australia. Who else?
Us, Australia, New Zealand, Japan, Argentina, and the Czech. So real sound tournament.
Wow, that's basically the top 6 teams in the world. You're just missing the U.S. and maybe Venezuela. So holy cow, that's quite the tune-up.
It's awesome. Look, I'm so excited for that. It's going to give us a chance to get to see how players are going to fit in and get them some first-time at-bats, first-time playing experience, possibly with some of the guys that are going to fill out our roster.
You've got a couple of spots on the roster. You told me back in Simcoe that you're looking for 3 or 4 options. Is that still the case?
Yes, absolutely. We've narrowed it down to pretty much a short list of about 12 or 15 players that I'm really keeping an eye on here and at the Canadian Championships. We'll make our final decision after the Canadian Championships. It might not be the guy with the best stats. It might be somebody that we need, whether we need if we feel we need a third catcher, or someone that can play another position and be a third catcher, or we're going to be definitely looking for a couple middle infielders, and then from there it's just picking the pieces that are going to fit in the puzzle.
You're here on the scouting mission, obviously. It's not just focusing on Canadian players anymore, because in a game like this, where it's almost exclusively an international field, this certainly gives you, or an international group of players at least, certainly gives you some insights into the opposition.
Absolutely. I'm not just here watching the Canadian players. I'm here trying to get some intel on the international players, like you say. Lots of Argentinians here. New Zealand's always got guys here. Lots of U.S. guys, Mexicans and Venezuelans. So it's incredible how many international players are at this event.
It really does put the eye in international, and we're certainly proud of that. And that leads me to the next question. It is so tight now amongst the top 8-10 teams at the WBSC. You've really got to go with the top players, your top players, right from the get-go. You can't afford a game off anymore.
No, and that's our plan, Blair, is, I want to give our 9-10 guys that are going to be playing every game unless injury or guys just need a day off or a break or whatever. But that's the plan, and when we go into picking our final 6 spots, we're going to talk to those guys and let them know, are you willing to play this role? And you might not get any time. You might be just coming off the bench for a hit or a run or a defensive, to come and play defense. So it's our plan is to play our 9 or 10 guys consistently for sure.
You look at some of the competition, 20 years ago, this was probably a 3-team tournament, Canada, the U.S., and New Zealand. Certainly not that way anymore.
No, you're right. I think about that all the time back in the 90s when it basically, like you say, it was those 3 teams, U.S., Canada, New Zealand, and now it's 6, 7, 8 teams, and it's, you can't count anybody out. You can't take a game off. And teams like the Czech, they were, I remember playing them back exhibition, less than 10 years ago. Now they're one of the top teams in the world, and Argentina, that speaks for itself what they've done over the last 5 or 6 years. It's New Zealand's always going to be there. They're always top of the heap, and they're playing at home. So you just can't take a game off because every game in the standings is going to mean a crossover at some point. So you just can't.
You see us here talking with John Stewart, the head coach of Team Canada. He's here scouting, getting ready for the WBSC World Cup in Auckland, New Zealand in November. In April, you played down in Argentina, a fastball crazy city, and where they have all of the fans, and it looked like 5,000-6,000 fans that are at that stadium. You're going to be going into an atmosphere in New Zealand, same type of thing. How do you prepare for that?
Yeah, absolutely. Argentina was incredible, and just the passion of the fans, and in that small city, they did an amazing job. And last time we were in New Zealand was 2013, and we expected to be, just as passionate and just as raucous as it was in Argentina, and they're proud of their boys, and rightfully so. So we expect nothing less than a full house and passionate fans.
You've got three right-handers, Sean Cleary, Zach Pierce, Devin McCullough. They're similar, but they're not the same. They've got some style differences, and they also all very importantly throw hard and good changeups.
Yeah, no, you're exactly right. They are very similar, but they also are very different, and it's that's part of the plan that we're working on right now, and how we're going to use the three of them, because it's not like we have a 1, 2, and 3. Anyone could be number one on a given day, and so we're going to have to come up with a plan on how we want to pitch them. And of course, I always like input from our players, and so we'll sit down with them and see what they feel they're best at, and we'll feel what we're best at, or what we think they're best at, and we'll come up with a plan and start working on that in Palmerston.
Great. Last question for you, as you've been watching some of the games here, who stand out?
Everybody. I mean, just honestly, the amount of teams that are here and some of the young guys and the talent that I'm seeing from some of the young guys is just amazing. And it's you look at a guy like Cole Evans who's playing right now, and first inning there, I'm not sure if it was first or second batter, makes an unbelievable play up the middle and gets the guy, and he's done that all year long.
Yeah.
He's amazing to watch. And then Matt is Matta, and he's dominating. But I was real impressed last night with Zippy versus Cleary too. That was a hell of a game, and you look at the hits they gave up, and I'm real happy with our pitchers and seeing some of the guys and some of the guys that we're on our short list too. We're keeping a close eye on them. So I think this year, after the Canadian Championships, it's going to be our toughest decision that I've been involved with to pick off our final roster.
Well, that's a good thing, because it means you've got lots of talent to choose from. John Stewart, head coach of Team Canada, thanks for joining us up here on the ISC Network. Much appreciated. And I don't know if we'll get a chance to talk before you go, but best of luck
Thanks very much, Blair.
The WBC in Auckland.
Thanks for having me. Really appreciate the time.
Thanks, John.
Thank you very much.
Take care.
Whatever your delivery requirements are across...
Should mention, Joe Todd, that the drone photography you see here, that is all Luciano Lafrano. I don't know where he finds the spare time, because we try not to let him out of the booth, as he helps to bring everybody back at home the sights and sounds of the 2022 ISC World Tournament. But that's where we're at. We're in that central building up on the second floor. That was the lovely and beautiful and talented Katrona Lafrano. It is their wedding anniversary today, and you're spending it with us at the ballpark. Congratulations. How many years? 9 years today. Congratulations to you and Katrona. Wow, she is a special lady to spend it here at the ballpark, Joe Todd. We appreciate the fact that you are here and helping us on the ISC Network to bring you the 2022, the 76th ISC World Tournament. And Joe, while we were chatting away with John Stewart, looked like pretty much a 3-up, 3-down inning for the Gremlins, as well as AWP through the third. So we're off now to the bottom of the fourth, and we've got Cole Evans up to the plate. And I did see that Cole Evans had one bounce off his chest after we've been bigging him up here on the broadcast.
That's our fault. Broadcaster curse.
Yes, indeed, the broadcaster curse. Swing and a miss downstairs. Evans down on strikes for the second time tonight, and Hayes seems to have Evans' number, and you have to wonder if Nick Hayes has got some inside intel from seeing Cole Evans on the New Zealand tournament circuit. And so all of us will be able to watch the New Zealand tournament circuit as Chopper and his group down in New Zealand have got a deal in place, I understand, to be bringing a number of the tournaments to the streaming world over the course of our winter, the New Zealand summer. So we'll look for that next year after the WBSC. Appreciate the notes on the audio. Occasionally we have to turn the sound down to do a little bit of the ISC administrative stuff that Joe and I are still responsible for. We don't escape those duties, sadly. Try as much as we want up in the booth, but we still have occasional work to do, and thanks for your patience and bearing with us. And we got set up as well to bring you that interview with John Stewart. And again, thanks to head coach of Team Canada, John Stewart. They get ready to go down to the WBSC. What are we looking at over there? The J&B team coming in. They will be on the broadcast next as they'll take on the Hill United Chiefs. And JD head to the left side. I'm going to assume that maybe they won the coin toss. They could be the home team. That one, Joe, I think is going to be a real barn burner. Not that this one isn't, but I think the JB Hill squad, or Hill game, is going to be something special.
Two great games tonight. Don't leave this screen.
Winters called strike. Joe, we mentioned before, maybe he and Jason Hill, the last of the two Farm Tavern players. This one well hit, center field, back to the fence, and gone. Zenon Winters, a solo home run to straightaway center field. Miniguti went as far back as he could, tried to lean into that flexi fence, Joe, but unlike some of the white collapsible fences, you can't put any pressure on this thing at all. The second you put weight on it, it's going to give.
And that ball was carrying too. Zenon Winters got all that pitch and drove it.
You'll see Miniguti to the fence there and gets tangled up. Didn't have the best beat on it either, to be honest. He was about a panel off, it looked like, frankly. So Winters puts the Gremlins out in front now 3-2. It doesn't get any easier with Brian Avery to the dish. Vermont Goodboy and Adam Falkert will toe the rubber for JB and Hill United Chiefs, respectively. Joe, no surprise there.
No, not at all.
Avery, a bit of a shake of the head in disagreement with Brandon Bloom on that call on the outside corner. 1-2. And this one is fouled off, so we'll keep it at 0-2.
Have to be really careful with Brian Avery at the plate. Don't want to put the ball up in the letters. Everything has to be low.
2-3 hopper eats up the second baseman on a hop and safe at first base. Cody Pannebecker had to range over to his right a little bit, Joe, and it took a bit of an upshoot on the final hop and got him in the chest, and that was enough that he was unable to get Avery, who still runs well at his, well, I want to say a catcher, but he's playing outfield today, so he should run well for an outfielder. But Avery running hard right out of the box, and Once that ball hit Pennebecker in the chest and back down, no chance to get Avery at the bag. That'll bring up Ladislav Malerzuk. And in for a called strike. Malerzuk, the Gremlins now at least 6 years, Joe. He goes back to at least 2014,
14, 15?
Yeah. And the core of this team has been together for a long, long time. Matthew Waugh has been there for quite a while. Zenon Winters, Avery, Malerzuk, Mullins, Kirkpatrick. And you look on the bench, Laulu has come and gone and come back. Greg Leather and Var Matiosian, the core of this Gremlins coaching staff. Bob Neidick has come on board along with his son Greg Neidick. And then they've added pieces over the years, Cole Evans being the most recent example at shortstop. Eric Ochoa has been plugging at first base. Matt Palazzo was here for a number of years, and then with his commitment to coaching his kids' ball team, had to go. But Matt Palazzo here with Circle Tap, and that is a great addition for the Dukes in their lineup, but he couldn't make a full-time commitment to the Gremlins. Upstairs to Malerzuk. Ben Anoka brought in along with Jerome Remeke for 2018. And two fabulous additions from the Kiwi side. And what they bring to the table is that winning attitude.
Yes, well, success breeds continuation, too. It just seems to grow and grow and grow, and they've done a great job keeping the nucleus of this team together.
Chopper on the infield, could be two, the flip two. Oh my goodness, we just can't buy a break here for the AWP Lumberjacks. And I think what happened there was Avery stopped. And I think it just completely threw off the shortstop, Gonzalo Ojeda. He had his eye on Avery, who he was expecting to come charging into second base. Avery just pulled out the chute and stopped so he couldn't get tagged by Pennebecker. And when Pennebecker flipped it backhand, Ojeda was looking at Avery and the ball just sailed right on by.
I don't think it was that bad of a throw, though, was it?
I don't think it was that bad of a toss either. I just don't think that Ojeda was even looking for it.
Yeah.
I think he was looking at Avery. So that bit of a miscue. Instead of a double play, you got runners now at first and second. Only the one down. And Nick Mullins, who's already hit one, 259 feet at the plate. This pitch misses inside. Hayes is going to want to talk to Tyler Booley. No sign in the bullpen right now for AWP of Michael Holobratic.
Nick Hayes is on the shades.
Well, he's the only infielder who's in the sunshine right now. Well, I guess over at first base, Cisco Sabate is in the sun a little bit, but Hayes, for the most part, is in sunlight. Everybody else in the shade as that one gets past Booley, and that's an extra 60 feet of real estate for both Avery and Malerzuk.
Just hate to give up that 60 feet. Just got a little bit of focus there.
Well, these are the tiny mistakes when you compound them together, cost you runs. And now the bases are loaded for the top of the shop. Matthew Waugh now going to get his third look at Hayes, and now the bullpen is up, Joe, as they've now got Michael Holobratic down working to Danny Allstat. And out here for a visit is the skipper.
yendo de las manos a los pelados.
Braddock did throw 2 innings in the Toronto Batman game. Picked up 3 strikeouts.
Lleva 4 ponches, 5 bases por bola, 2 jonronazos, uno de una de carreras y otro.
Well, Joe, I would have thought that it would have been an interesting decision and perhaps a tough decision to make to who was going to be your starter coming into it, but they went with Hayes, and it's paid off for them. But now I see Braddock and Allstat are walking down in behind the stands right here in front of us. I guess they're going over to the diamond to our left to go warm up rather than doing it into the sun. I can certainly understand that because whoever is catching there down the right field side is staring right into that glowing ball of fire in the sky. Inside to Matthew Waugh. I don't know why they didn't go over to. Well, there is a game going on Diamond 6. That's why they didn't go there. Chopper on the infield. Come home, and they get a sliding Avery. Good play there. That's a tough one, Joe, because you've got to wait for that ball to come down. Sabate actually jumped up to get it into his glove and had his hand on it as he was coming down. Made a good throw to Booley at the plate. They got sliding Avery.
Plus, they had to fight the sun. Whatever sun still might be out there.
Well, he's still got a face full of it. So move everybody up 60 feet. Bring Jerome Recchi to the plate. Bases still loaded, but now with 2 out. And a little bit of breathing room for the AWP Lumberjacks. This one is drilled out to left field to the gap. That's going to score 1. That's going to score 2. Here comes Wall around the corner. It's going to score 3 as Jerome Remicke clears the bases with a double.
Jerome only got half that ball, but drove it opposite field
into the gap.
Into a hole.
You see Remicke easily into second. Matthew Waugh flying around third base to score standing up. And Joe, you talk about a couple of the breaks that have gone against AWP here this inning, and Max Schmidt out again for his second appearance. That's going to be it for Nick Hayes, but the defense lets him down a little bit, Joe. A couple of those perhaps unearned. You think of the missed flip on the double play op, and that was just about enough. Now, a couple of walks involved in there too, right?
1 walk and 2 errors this inning.
So some unearned runs for the Gremlins. You cannot afford to give those away. Braddock, who hasn't had a lot of time to warm up, will make his way out onto the field, and he's going to have to get ready in a hurry. We are going to take a break. We will get back as Michael Braddock will take his warm-up pitches. We'll get the volume turned up on our next ad, and stay with us coming up.
This business was opened in 1965 by my father, Ned Matiosi. Could have walked in here 25, 30 years ago and seen just about the same thing. The process of making this suit takes about 6 weeks. It goes through about 12 or 13 hands as it's moved along the line. It's an old-time place. Making stuff from scratch here in the city at a reasonable cost. It's a very personal type of business. This business was opened in 1965 by my father, Ned Matiosi. Could have walked in here 25, 30 years ago and seen just about the same thing. The process of making this suit takes about 6 weeks. It goes through about 12 or 13 hands as it's moved along the line. It's an old-time place. making stuff from scratch here in the city at a reasonable cost. It's a very personal type of business.
VAR Matiosian and Mr. Ned, thank you for the ongoing and continued support. You guys are the best. Anoka at the plate now. Jerome Remeke out at second. I think Benny must have loved his time in Toronto, Joe, because he's got the bow flow going. Bo Bichette, of course, the shortstop for the Toronto Blue Jays with the flowing locks.
Versus the High United Chief.
Chopper on the infield. Remeke gets out of the way of the shortstop. Low throw. Gets by. No, it does not get by. Cisco Sabate dug it out. Good play by Cisco. And there you see the sunshine, what the first baseman and the right fielder are still looking into. But the New York Gremlins now out to a 6-2 lead. That's a pretty decisive bottom of the fourth. We'll go to the top of the fifth. Stay with us on the ISC Network.
Do you need a reliable supply of products to run your business? Are you tired of having to deal with multiple? Do you need a reliable supply of products to run your business? Are you tired of having to deal with multiple suppliers to get everything you need? Absolute Business Supply is your dedicated, full-service business supply partner offering over 400,000 products and unmatched customer service. At ABS, we aren't just selling products. We offer a commitment to building meaningful relationships with our customers, getting to know your business goals so we can provide the best possible solutions for your needs. Find us on the web at absolutebusinesssupply.ca and let us get it for you.
We're going to get for you here on the ISC Network. Let's set for Joe Todd, New York Gremlins, up 6-2. And Joe, you had a report on the ISC 2 game going on Diamond 7 behind us.
The Bar Buzz leading the Kingston Axemen 2-1. That's in the top of the ninth inning with the Kingston Axemen now coming to the plate. We'll get you a final of that later.
You can follow all of the action, ISC2, right through the ISC website at iscfastpitch.com. Links to all of the live scoring through Game Changer. Jordan and all of her friends doing a great job for us here on Game Changer. Live scoring. And, of course, we've got the live streaming brought to you by Softball Premier TV and the ISC Network. My good friend Luciano Lafrano, as Andrew Kirkpatrick goes down for not the first and not the last time. It is a little slippy out there on the landing spot at times, and Kirkpatrick gets up, dusts himself off, and right back onto the board. And ball 4. And pitching around Carlos Colmenares, who had that big 2-run home run for AWP back in the second. And that, for less than half an inning, Joe, gave AWP the lead. The Gremlins roared back and tied it on a Nick Mullins home run. There go the feet. So we got a pinch hitter here as Danny Allstat will come in and will pinch hit for Matthias Miniguti. And you wonder, Joe, if Matthias may have injured something, getting tangled up with the fence out there. Allstat with that little nubber foul. He and Mullins nearly ran into each other. That's a couple of solid guys, Joe, that nearly made some contact out there.
They would have rused there.
There's Eric Ochoa out at first, and Allstat flares this one into the screen. We give the first base coach something to do there, pick up that ball. chase that bee away, Joe. We don't need that coming in through the open window. Jordan, deathly white there when that bee started buzzing around. Down strikes goes Daniel Allstat, and that'll bring it to Cody Panabecker. You know what I loved about this game, Joe? The pace. Andrew Kirkpatrick works quick. Nick Hayes is a quick worker. Michael Hollabrack, we'll see how he goes. But we started this game at 6:15, and we're moving right along.
Yes, one of the traits of Adam Kirkpatrick is the fact that he throws a lot of first pitch strikes. Tries to go in there and challenge that batter right out the hop. Wants to stay ahead in the count. That's a big plus for a pitcher.
Evans scoops to 2 for 1, back to 1 for 2. 6 plus 4 equals 2. And the Gremlins are out of the inning. Wow, watch this one again.
Ahí está, señor, vamos a ver la doble matanza. Evans, Arzuk, Huevo Ochoa. Ahí están, señores, caen los 3 outs. Vamos a cerrar el quinto episodio.
Wow, Joe, I feel like I've been to the stadium tour after that guitar solo.
Can you name that artist?
I think Luciano got Slash to do that guitar solo.
Contacts around the world.
Wow. I'm excited and energized after that guitar solo. That is unbelievable. That Peligro Sports ad. And of course, we want to thank Peligro Sports and Jose. And Joe, we got to get out to New York City for the Peligro Cup next year, the long weekend between the Canadian and the American holidays.
Sounds like something we can put in the calendar.
Try that as Eric Ochoa to the plate. Bottom of the 5th inning.
Ochoa viene a batear ahora, el caballete.
And there's a hard infield grounder that gets through the 3.5 hole, and Ochoa aboard with a base hit and a little fist bump out there with Bar Mattiozzi. No dance there for second baseman Cody Panabecker. That had some heat on it. And Evans chases upstairs.
Evans trying to find some offense in tonight's game.
Yeah, he has been just gold on defense, but hasn't been able to get on track here on the offensive side. Upstairs. So there's no easy pitting here. I mean, you're not coming here for batting practice. You're facing a national team guy. It's Hayes. I know he's not on the list for New Zealand right now for some reasons, but you go from Hayes to Hollabrack. You know, there's no easy guys out there.
There's a lot of depth in this tournament.
Chases downstairs, and Evans will reflect on that back to the dugout. And that'll bring up the veteran Zenon Winters. There you see Reese Casely guarding the dugout door. Reese inducted into the ISC Hall of Fame on Sunday morning. used to patrol second base for the Gremlins, the Broken Bow Spirit, probably, I think it would have been at that time.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the all-time leaders in this sport, Reese Casely. Winters goes around. He's also the only Hall of Fame inductee that we haven't had up here to talk to, Joe, so we got to chase Reese down still. Well, I think he's coaching right now. I think he's a little busy. Swing and a miss there by Winters.
Winter que ha estado enérgico al bate en toda esta clasificación del ISC.
Reese came up a couple of weeks ago for the ASA tournament, has joined the coaching staff for the Gremlins. And this is where Greg Leather, Var Mattiosian are looking forward. Greg tells us that he may not be there forever with the Gremlins, but they do want this team to go on. They want a successor coach in place, and Reese is somebody that they're looking at as a guy that could take over in that position, and he's here. There's Var Mattiosian. Mr. Ned, he tries to back out of the frame.
Great to have a succession plan. Attrition will always set in.
Called strike three. Winters can't get the bat off the shoulder on that outside corner pitch. Moves to Brian Avery. That was the back of Reese Casey at least. Just briefly, you had a glimpse of Greg Leather.
Lanzamiento. Hola. El segundo out. Llegó Warren. Jump down, ragazzi. Benvenuti.
Hard one hopper again past Cisco Sabate out at first base. Boy, the 3.5-hole Joe is getting worn out between Ochoa and now Avery. Those two guys have sent a couple of worm burners right through there.
Well, take the pitch any way you can get it and drive that ball. Use the whole field. Don't be afraid to go the opposite way.
And a pinch hitter here for... No, that's not a pinch hitter. I was thinking Mullins was up, but still Malazuk. And a batter ahead myself. And called strike. Holoradic emerged on the scene in 2016 at the WBSC U19 event. Joe, you and I were at that in Midland, Michigan. Big swing and a miss there. And the Czech Republic was quite excited about their prospects that they had coming, and rightly so. And they've got some more good kids here with Heine and some others that I'm expecting to see emerge, much as Holoradic has time at the plate here, so that pitch will not count. But Holoradic, you think of the class that was back in that 2016 pool: Holoradic, Tyler Anderson, Daniel Chapman, Rio Koyama, all guys who are or are prospects for their national teams.
It's a great feeder system, and it's important to have those developmental teams in the process to be prepared to play at the men's level.
Speaking of, Joe, on the feeder system side, the U23 event that was supposed to take place down in Paraná in Argentina, where we're both hearing that the timing is off for that. Swing and a miss there by Malazuk. We'll pick that story up on the other side, but the Gremlins on cruise control right now, leading 6-2.
Does your game need work? Want to get better every game? Every at-bat? You need Lumberjacks Sports, focusing on exceptional quality and providing players with reliable, long-lasting product. Lumberjacks Sports brings you in-game equipment and off-field workout gear, designed and tested by top fastball player Nick Shales. Hard work, strength, An all-around commitment to getting the job done and done right is the motto for Lumberjack Sports. Learn from the best. Play like the best. Check out lumberjacksports.ca. Does your game need work? Want to get better every game? Every at-bat? You need Lumberjack Sports, focusing on exceptional quality and providing players.
Parque de pelota, bienvenidos. Este número 10.
We're back. Cisco Sabate, top of the shot for AWP Lumberjacks. And Joe, you talk about a guy, a veteran who's been around for a number of years. Cisco has, now he came over at a very young age, but not the first Argentina player, but probably in the vanguard, I got to think.
Yes, I'm thinking 12, 13 years, 14.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, you know, you think of guys like Roberto Baller and Lucas Mata were amongst the first to come up from Argentina. Cisco probably not too long after those guys.
We do have a final on Diamond 7. The Bar Buzz have defeated the Kingston Axemen by 2-1 score in 9 innings.
That was an elimination game, I believe, in
Yes, it was.
ISC2. So the Bar Buzz will finish in the top 4 in ISC2 as we'll bring you the ISC2 championship game tomorrow at 3 p.m. scheduled start time. We'll see how that goes as the afternoon progresses tomorrow, but look for us on or about 3 p.m. Central Time, just for your time zone accordingly. Alvinston Aces, and I'm putting the pressure on you, Joe. Alvinston, and this one is lifted up. Deep right field. Avery back and gone. A solo shot for Miklas Klaus from the Czech Republic. Put a charge into that AWP Lumberjacks bench, Joe. They were looking a little down. You can see it here, opposite field. Klaus takes that out and gone as Avery runs out of real estate. So 6-3 now the score. And the Lumberjacks, they're not done yet. Alvinston and Marchio Sausage, thank you for that. In the winner's bracket final for ISC2 as Kirkpatrick slips and takes a look back at his landing spot. Elmira Expos have also advanced into the Final Four. So you've got, on the winner's bracket side, Alvinston and Marchio. They're going to play tonight still at, well, in the next 15 minutes that one is going to start. And then Elmira Expos and the Bar Buzz will play tomorrow at 11. The winner of that will play the loser of Alvinston Marchio. And then at 3 or thereabouts, we'll bring you the ISC2 championship game. This one is fouled off into the screen. Joe, I don't see anybody working down the Gremlins dugout. Not that there's any real urgency for anybody to be up, but hard hit shot down the right side. That's foul. There's a game going on, Joe. That must be the Alvinston game that's going on right now. They
must have moved it over to the other diamond.
You know, I heard that when you look up on the ISC website, there's Game Changer and live score tracking. I've been telling people that, and I'm now going to take my own advice as that pitch inside but called a strike on Tyler Booley. He's down on strikes.
triste. Va a tirar ahora Carreño.
So that game's in the bottom of the third, and tied at 2, Alvinston Aces and Marchio Sausage. The winner's bracket final in ISC 2. Called a strike on the outside corner, and I don't think Brandon Bloom's strike zone has changed, Joe. The ISC strike zone is always a little bit wide. It's not very tall, but it does have some width to it. Swing and a miss there by Carlos Carreño. This one is fouled back out of play. You see Carreño with the bottom of that bat. He's got an extra wide knob on the bottom of that bat. Bright yellow too. We'll get a close-up of. There it is. That is a exercise one. Doesn't help him there. Swing and a miss. Big home run by Miklas Klaas. Brings the Lumberjacks a little bit closer. The Gremlins will take that 6-3 lead to the home half of the 6th. Here on the IC Network, stay with us. We'll be right back.
2 Hall of Fame players. 1, a 3-time All-World player and twice the leading hitter at the ISC World Tournament. The other, a 5-time All-World player who led the World Tournament in RBIs in 2008. Reese Casely and Travis Wilson, our teammates, our friends, our family. Congratulations, Reese and Travis, from all of us on the New York Gremlins on your induction into the ISC Hall of Fame. 2 Hall of Fame players. 1, a 3-time All-World player and twice the leading hitter at the ISC World Tournament. The other, a 5-time All-World player who led the World Tournament in RBIs in 2008. Reese Casely and Travis Wilson, our teammates, our friends, our family. Congratulations, Reese and Travis, from all of us on the New York Gremlins on your induction into the ISC Hall of Fame.
Back live on the ISC Network. There's Nick Mullins. 2-run home run tonight. Fresh off a MVP appearance at the USA National Championship a week ago. Called strike. Joe, when we look at the brackets, this is the bottom half of the bracket tonight with the Gremlins and the Lumberjacks coming up here on the ISC Network. JB, the Hill United Chiefs. Tomorrow, the winners bracket semifinals. The first of 2, the Halma Twins and the Bear Creek Express. An all-Canadian matchup. Those were the teams ranked 1 and 4 coming in. Little 3-hopper out to Panabecker, and he'll make the short toss over to first to retire Mullins. The winner of this one will play the winner of JB and the Chiefs. That one will come your way tomorrow night around this time. But then when you get into the losers bracket, Joe, there are some great matchups that start tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. Circle Tap Dukes and San Antonio Glowworm. Glowworm having a great tournament. A couple of upsets. They knocked off the Fargo Kegel Black Knights on Tuesday. Today, they beat the Ostrander Norsemen 5-4. So they'll play Circle Tap Dukes tomorrow.
Could be our Cinderella team.
So far, for sure. Toronto Batmen were winners today over those Sweeken Redmen, 3-1. That was a good ball game. You and I got here in the midst of that one. Niagara Stompers were 2-1 winners over Midland. That was an outstanding ball game. Pitching across the board. For the Stompers, it was Kyle Linton. For Midland, John Guizdala and Riley Mannion. And both of those guys looked really good. I think Guizdala is got to be a lock to make Team USA the way he's been throwing.
I would think so. He's vastly improved since the last time I saw John.
So Niagara will play the loser of this game tomorrow afternoon. And then the Grand Prairie Pirates, who just came up short last night in that walk-off loss to the Bear Creek Express, they will take on the AHI Reapers. And Joe, there's another Cinderella team. The Reapers finished third in ISC 2 last year, and they knocked off the team that finished second, Nate's Otto Fisher. The Reapers 2-1 winners in that one today, and that was a really good ball game on the diamond immediately before this one.
They made some really good pickups and additions to their lineup to strengthen up there, put them in a position to be where they are on the board.
Luis Amaya was the key addition along with Dustin Houts, and I say that with somewhat tongue-in-cheek for Houtsy, but he has brought some experience over to that Reapers lineup.
It's important to have someone that's been there before. Dustin has been there before.
I had a great chat with Houtsy, Terry Bader, Todd Idenaway, little Gators mini reunion earlier this afternoon. And Joe, it's been 5 years since 2016, six years since 2016 that we were here. And Terry looked out at the scoreboard today, and it was 0-0. And he said, for me, that scoreboard is always going to say 6-3. Of course, that was the winning score for the Toronto Gators here in 2016. In fact, August 20th on Saturday, Joe, will be the exact 6-year anniversary. I'm sure Terry Bader will be making that annual call to Larry Lynch to remind him. So we'll be bringing you some of these games tomorrow with the video-only stream that will start up tomorrow, and then we'll be on the air at 3 p.m. again, scheduled start time for the IC2 championship game. And then we'll bring you all the action, of course, in those two winners bracket semis, and I'm looking forward to those. There's a called strike, and Reggie thought he had a walk. And Joe, you know, I think some of the fans throughout the season, because we've seen all of these teams beat each other over the course of the season. So to me, that's what makes this World Tournament really up in the air. There's no clear favorite here. Swing and a miss. Oh, Rimmicky just about cut out of his shoes with that swing.
Great parity. That really strengthens up the game.
You've got pitching on each, and I'm going to throw in Grand Prairie and JB into that mix as well, because both of those teams have the pitching to step up and beat any of the other teams on any given night. Pierce threw a whale of a game last night. He just made one bad pitch to Mason, because I think
He did everything but win.
Yeah, Mr. Nova, who had the home run early for the Express, I think he may have just ran into that one a little bit last night. But we talked Pierce and several other Pirates players yesterday on our way out of the park last night, and it wasn't like the game was forgotten, but they were in really good spirits. You and I talked about that on the car ride on the way home, that you would have thought they'd have won the game for the good spirits that they were in. And I told that in the huddle after the game, Blake Hunter, who's got all kinds of big game experience, Blake Hunter came into the huddle and he said, does anybody have anything to say about that game where they left 15 runners on base, 7 of them in scoring position, and nobody said a thing? And Hunter then said, good, it's done, it's over, we're not talking about it anymore, we're moving on to the next game.
Great to have that leadership on your team.
Chopper in the infield, Pennebecker's got to range over, but he will make a nice easy toss to first for the out. The Gremlins strand 1, but they keep that 6-3 lead. We'll go to the top of the 7th, the AWP Lumberjacks. Last call for the Lumberjacks. They're going to need cut some wood, Joe, to get back into this one.
For the best Bear Tent banter on the airwaves, listen to Dust Up with Hilly and Lolly. Here's some of the biggest stars chatting with 2 of Newfoundland's own, Jason Hill and Steve Mullally. It's unfiltered and uncensored. Dust Up with Hilly and Lolly, wherever you get your podcasts. Yes, bye. For the best Bear Tent banter on the airwaves, listen to Dust Up with Hilly and Lolly. Here's some of the biggest stars chatting with 2 of Newfoundland's own, Jason Hill and Steve Mullally. It's unfiltered and uncensored. Dust Up with Hilly and Lolly, wherever you get your podcasts. Yes, bye.
Bueno, señores, aquí regresamos al parque de pelota.
Back here, Milton Field, ISC Network. First pitch swinging goes Federico Olheiser, the designated player for AWP Lumberjacks. Got to get a couple of guys on and hope that Miniguti and Pennebecker can keep the train rolling for AWP. 5, 6, 7. Olheiser, Ojeda, and Colmenares.
Colmenares has already touched him up for a 2-run shot back in the second. Those Federico can get on, set the table. You've got the potential.
Follows this one back into the screen. What's the pitch count for Andrew Kirkpatrick? He has been very economical. 86, so into the 7th inning, and just a little over 11, 12 pitches. About 12 pitches per inning, Joe. That's about right where you'd want him.
Yep.
Chopper on the infield, deflected by Kirkpatrick, picked up by Evans, and almost another outstanding play. Only some wheels there from Federico Olheiser presented that. Now, 6'7", Andrew Kirkpatrick, you see him sprawling out on the mound trying to get that ball and just deflected it enough, and I think that's the difference between safe and out at first, because Evans had to change course to get that ball.
And he went a long way, too, from his original position.
So, Joe, they got one of the runners aboard. Gonzalo Ojeda to the plate, and we got a pinch runner. That's Marek Mali from the Czech Republic. Joe, he might have been a good candidate as a pinch hitter, too, but they're going to burn him as a runner. And Ojeda will try to keep the train rolling here for the AWP Lumberjacks. fouls this one off into the screen.
Roach es bateador con Mali en primera base. Estamos contentos de que nos sigan, que estén con nosotros.
And again, fouls that one straight back. So he's got him timed up. Joe, do you come with a changeup, or do you go with the high hard stuff again?
I go high.
I don't think you want to beat up anybody's bat at this point with a changeup. Well, they went high. Didn't chase it.
No. Don't get beat on your secondary pitch.
I thought he had a bit of a wave at it, but I guess he was just dropping the bat down. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Runner aboard, nobody down here. Top of the 7th inning. Last call for the Lumberjacks. Little bleeder on the infield. Evans. Strong throw over to first. No opportunity to even think about getting the lead runner there, but you don't need to get the lead runner here. That run doesn't mean anything unless 2 more across the plate behind it. So just get the outs and run them out of outs.
Just a natural shortstop, though. Just the fact that he had to charge that ball probably at least 10 feet. Couldn't sit on your heels on that one.
So Colmenares to the plate. Had a big 2-run blast back in the 2nd inning. Momentarily gave EWP the lead. And Carlos is a good friend of our good friend Luciano, so I guess that makes him a good friend of ours.
Obviously.
Kirkpatrick will look back. The runner, Olheiser, had only got 2 feet off the ground. Now, Joe, being 6'7" certainly has its advantages because he just reaches up for that one, and that's over the head of just about every other pitcher here this week.
Very important to note that at the end of his pitching,
he's in a good fielding position.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So, chopper on the infield, that one's foul. Miniguti runs very well. You have some Canadian geese flying overhead. You just saw them leaving your screen there momentarily. Big V for victory pattern. Swing and a miss by Miniguti. Patrick loses the footing once again. We've seen that, Joe, with a number of pitchers here this week just lose their footing. It's a little loose coming down. Swing and a miss. That's the ball game. A nice, efficient ball game, Joe, for the New York Gremlins. They're tested, but they hold strong, and you see the strength and the class of this team, able to bounce right back, take the lead, and then stretch away.
great pitching performance by Adam Kirkpatrick. 12 strikeouts, 3-hitter, just 1 walk, always in control. Yes, a couple of home runs or 1-2-run shot was hit against him, but he regrouped and kept them contained for the victory.
So the Gremlins will advance to tomorrow's winners bracket semifinal. EWP falls down into the losers bracket. They will play tomorrow as well. No more days off in the ISC World Tournament. It is downhill to the finish on Championship Saturday. We're going to reset here on the ISC Network. We will come back in about, let's call it 15-20 minutes. I'm going to say sometime between 8:25 and 8:30 Central Time. Adjust for your time zone accordingly. For Joe Todd, Luciano, Jordan, Catrona, thanks for being with us, and we will see you on the flip side.